Hi, this is Dr. Ben Morrill. Welcome to episode 120 of Reptile Genetics Weekly. Glad to have you here. This will be a fun and interesting one. As you know from the thumbnail already, we'll talk a little bit about lace, talk a little bit about GHI, and some various topics that go along with those. And you'll have to watch through the episode to get all of the things that we've learned and also the information we're asking to have you all help us with so we can learn more. So, but as for a sample update, this week we should have results going out every day the rest of the week. And then the next panel run will probably be 1 to 2 weeks out. So we're getting close on that, where we'll be doing another panel run. Let's see. I think that's all I have. Kayla, how are you doing?
Hey, Ben, I'm doing great. Thank you for, I got all of my sex determination tests for my hatchlings that came through. So that was so easy. You didn't have to pop or probe anybody last week. And I know which ones are my holdbacks. So I'm doing good. All the babies are eating. Life is great right now.
Awesome.
And I'm excited about this, our announcement for today, and our guests, of course. So let's go ahead and knock out the business real quick. For the new tests that are here, if you haven't heard, we have honey, vanilla disco, HRA, and one more that we're going to announce today. And of course, our all recessives panel, which is new. It's in our store. So raregeneticsinc.com. Go on in, and you can order our all recessives panel. I think it has 16 or 17 now.
I think it is. Yeah, it's getting close to 20.
Wow, awesome. Well, that's too cool. So definitely, if you get good results in your all recessives panels, definitely send that to me. I'll throw my contact here in the bottom, but. Send us pictures of your animals, the surprise results you got. I love that so much. But as for our new test today, that is, I guess, the last couple of days, we have our new test, Lace, which has been very highly anticipated. And to celebrate, we brought on two guests today, that being Justin of Canova and Courtney of Leviathan Snakes. What's up, guys?
Hey, guys.
Hey, Kayla. Ben.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know. So, Justin, you work with Lace for sure. And Courtney, I know you and Steven work with a little bit of Lace.
We do. Yeah.
You do? Awesome. That's exciting. So, let's talk about the history real quick. Justin, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, let me dive in on that. Yeah. So Lace, my goodness, Lace has been around for a really long time. You see, they were first produced in 2002.
That's surprising.
CB Exotics has really pushed this project and just developed this project. I'll give them all the credit for really having built it to what it is, honestly, because there's so much hard work goes into taking a new gene and really proving that it's real and then showing it to the market and all that. So I'll give them total credit for that. I've started with an animal from them as well, and I've been able to work with it for many years now, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And it's gone from being a real fringe gene to now one of the must-haves, in the current kind of ball python universe. It's pretty awesome.
For sure. All of these combos that I'm about to throw up here were produced by Justin, and oh my gosh, like when I pulled up this guy here, I was like, oh, that's a classy looking animal.
Well, what Lace is so amazing because in a way it's a brightening gene, but I would say it's most similar to Desert Ghost in the sense that it brightens, but it doesn't brighten uniformly. It brightens the brightness and leaves the blacks alone. So you get good contrast animals, versus some of the genes that kind of lighten the whole animal uniformly. You kind of start running out of, I guess, saturation, essentially.
Yeah.
And so Lace has become really, really big. And the great thing about Lace as well, in addition to just brightening, is that it does have some pattern elements, mostly on the bottom, third of the snake has a lot of edging, a lot of really interesting thing. And the white Lace, of course, takes it even further.
Yeah.
So it's like an incomplete dominant Desert Ghost type look in a way with some pattern elements, which are nice.
like, this is unreal. It looks like some sort of confection. Like, that is, I can't get over how cool that animal looks.
That's a really crazy animal. And there's so many genes in there.
Yeah,
This is where a
there's
lace
lot.
test comes in really handy.
Yes. And so you were saying that like the bottom third of the animal tends to get a lot of pattern. So is this like the popcorning you would look for?
Yeah, that is a combination of yellow belly, which also adds a lot of belly edging, right? And then lace does as well. So when you have them both together, it really kind of doubles the effect. It's a really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And of course, you have several videos talking about lace. This is the most recent one up here, where you talk about, I guess putting more dark combos in there. Like, what is this little guy, if you remember?
Yeah, that's like a pinstripe spot nose, yellow belly, lace, obviously. Potentially, like, I don't remember off the top of my head, probably special or something in there as well, just giving it that whole neon look, right? But again, the lace really cleans it up. It kind of takes away the, typically ball pythons, they have a gradient where they get a little bit darker towards the dorsal, right? That's where they look a little dirtier on the dorsal than the bottoms. And lace kind of just cleans it all the way up the sides. So it's just a great effect. And the best thing about it, honestly, is that the animal tends to improve with age, right? So
I love that.
So whatever it looks like as a baby, it looks usually as good or sometimes even better as it grows up, which is huge because most genes kind of go the opposite way.
Yeah, that is awesome.
That almost looks like a baby green tree python.
Yes, it does. That's what I was trying to think of. I was like, it looks like something, but yeah.
That pattern is so cool.
And you've got a how to ID lace, which that kind of almost leads us into the next topic a little bit that Courtney's here, especially to talk about. But and also you talked about how underrated it is, and as an outsider-ish, I'm like, as a non-ball python person looking in, when I saw the just single mutation pictures of lace, I was like, it's pretty. But seeing the combos, I'm like, oh, I see what you mean by it being underrated. That's cool.
It's true for so many though, right? You take fire, vanilla, HRA, any of the ones, even the ones we talked about today. Those were all by themselves relatively underwhelming, right?
Yeah.
But that's the great thing about adding human design to things and thinking through, oh, maybe if these two are together, maybe they leverage their looks together. It'd be really cool.
And sure enough, they really do. But as you were saying earlier, it does kind of complicate things when you have multiple genes together. It can do beautiful things, but also it can be hard to ID, which is why, which is kind of how we ended up in the situation that Stephen and Courtney talk about in this video here, the fake lace controversy. Also, subscribe to both of their channels. They're wonderful. So, Courtney, do you want to talk about this video that you guys did? And it was really just 5 days ago.
Yeah. The title's a little clickbaity. It's not so much like, it's not as dramatic as it comes off. But when lace became, for us, really on our radar, I believe it was Justin put out that video on white lace versus DG, and you had the lace DG stuff, and it was really cool, and it really popped off for a lot of people, and we all got really excited about it. And now in the last kind of year or so, we've had a lot of friends come to us saying that from various people, they purchased lace animals, they purchased white lace animals even that are not producing any lace babies, and now they're starting to test those genes. And we even know of one person who said that they purchased a white lace and it proved out to not have the gene at all. We were kind of speculating what happened, and I believe in the video it's Stephen talking, and one of the things that he says is that lace really expresses itself closer to 500 grams, and most people are selling their hatchlings before 500 grams. So it's not meaning to say that this is an intentional pulling the wool or anything, but what do you do if you're in that situation where you spent a lot of money on a lace combo, like a lace clown combo, and you're just without? How do we handle it? How has it been handled in the past? And who picks up the slack. And it's just kind of a speculative video on what to do and how to go about it. A big thing is, if you had your animal tested by, a company that does shed testing, reach out to them before you reach out to the seller. Make sure that those test results were accurate, that there was no human error before talking to the person who sold you the animal, because you don't want to end up going to them and having back and forth and it turns out it was just like a typo. But yeah,
Right.
so the video just kind of talks about that.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, for sure. Ben, as someone who tests for these animals, what's your input on that?
Yeah, we the mistakes are pretty rare. The tests themselves are really good. We do a good job of really running a whole bunch. Like with lace, I've run hundreds to this point to get to today where we're ready to make it available to people. I know that the other testing companies that do offer a lace test, they work very hard. This is one that we were all, as testing companies, conversed with each other. Like, this is one we were worried about because of the possibility that there would be ones out there that people thought and assumed, and they may even have been breeding an actual lace, and then, like Courtney was just bringing up, producing offspring, and they pick the ones out they think are lace, and they sell them before they're 200 grams, and then maybe 6 months later it's obvious they're not. So it was something we put a lot of work into. But with all of that said, there's still humans that run the test. There's humans that report the results. There's humans that collect the sheds and send them into us. There's humans that handle the sheds once they get to us. So, mistakes can be made. I would say on average, out of 100, there will be, excuse me, 1 or 2 mistakes. And it's about half the time it's on our end, and about half the time it's on, the customer side, where they've just, mixed up sheds or whatever, or mislabeled something.
It happens.
And on our side, we'll enter something in wrong, or we'll mix sheds up. It happens, but it's not very often. So, 98, 99% of the time, things go through as they should and everything goes well. But if you do have something weird come up, yeah, definitely reach out to us and be like, hey, I bought this as a lace or a white lace, but you tested it and it's negative, or it's, het when it should be a white lace. Let us know, and Sean or I will jump on right away and just make sure that the call looks correct and it's reported correctly. And that way, when you go to that person, you can say, hey, I bought this as a white lace. I talked to RGI, they did the test. I talked to them. That is for sure testing as this, but you sold it to me as that. Then that's a much better way to go to the breeder. And then if you talk to us, we're like, oh, sorry, yeah, we just did that yesterday, and I can see that got entered in wrong. Then you don't even have to talk to that person. You don't have to have that confrontation. So, like I said, it doesn't happen often, but if it's something, especially if it's a high dollar animal and you're very concerned about it, reach out to us. Let us know, hey, this is not an expected result. Can you just double check that it got entered in correctly? And we'll look at that real quick for you and let you know.
Yeah. And so if it is a situation where your white lace or your lace, that you paid a good chunk of change for, you check with whoever you're testing with, you check with Ben, they say everything looks good. And maybe they even have you send in another shed just to be sure it's the right animal and it's good, but it still tests negative. So you guys, Courtney, you all talk about potentially talking to the breeder about that situation. So what is your input from that perspective if you were in that situation?
I think a lot of breeders want the opportunity to show that they want to make it right. I think there's a lot of situations where we've been in where we have not expected. It's an honest mistake. We thought the animal had the gene when we purchased it, so like we ID'd it the same, and we've had a lot of people make it right anyway. So I do think that there are a lot of people who want the opportunity to like replace an animal or give a sort of refund, give a sort of store credit. So, if you're purchasing your animal from somebody who wants to, make that relationship, keep that relationship really strong, there's a very good chance that they will take steps to, kind of do right by you, like make it up, because it does feel pretty bad to have spent like a good amount of money on something that isn't what you thought it was.
Yeah,
but it's also like, it's hard on a breeder who 5 years ago sold an animal that they're just now getting a call about. Like, that's tough as well. So it's a really difficult situation to navigate. But depending on who you are and who you bought it from, there is a good chance that you can find a way that both of you can walk away happy. There's also a chance that you break a relationship by like expecting too much, or expecting somebody to do something for you before, when they themselves feel like they were misled, like maybe their animal they purchased and they lost out on money as well. So there's a lot of moving parts that go into it. I think some people have very black and white opinions on it, like, oh, you sold the incorrect gene, you owe them that money back. And then there's other people that are like, well, they thought it was the lace when they bought it, so they were just as much at fault as the seller. So it is difficult to navigate. There's a lot of moving parts, but this is just a way to talk through it. And we got a lot of interesting comments on the video of different people's takes on it, different situations, to be on both sides of it, like people who take a seller side versus people who take the buyer side. So I think it's one of those things that not everybody's going to agree on.
Fair enough.
So yeah, if you haven't seen the video yet, check it out.
Any title with the word controversy in it makes me sweat a little. So direct your comments towards Steven.
Yeah. Fair enough.
He loves it.
Yeah, of course.
Well, the other fun part to our announcement today,
yes,
the part that was even more exciting and interesting to me, we did a video recently, I think a couple weeks ago, talking about the fact that Monsoon and Sunset were on the same chromosome. They're not in the same gene. They're not right by each other, but they are close enough. There could be some linkage. And so we said, hey, that's what we're seeing in the DNA. Let us know how the breeding's going. Well, with lace, and the reason why we have GHI in our thumbnail is it looks like lace and GHI are much closer to each other than Monsoon and Sunset. So lace and GHI, what we're seeing so far, looks like they are in the same gene. So now that we've seen that in the DNA, the next step is to see how the breeding goes. So in the past, when mutations have been in the same gene right close to each other, they'll then, act like a super, like we know the yellow belly complex, the spider complex, the blue-eyed Lucy complex. But we don't have that data yet because that I have access to right now. But some of you watching this may have done some GHI lace breeding or know someone that has. And so what we really want to do is reach out and say, hey, any of you that have done GHI lace breedings, we'd really like to know your breeding results, and maybe even do some free testing for you, since we have a GHI test and a lace test. If we can get those breeding results, and that way this can be something that, is a collaborative effort. We can kind of figure this out from both sides. We want to know what the DNA is saying, but then also, practical, what actually happens when we're breeding them. So, but yeah, with that said, we want to show a few cool GHI and lace animals. I know we're running a little short on time, but Justin, you had some cool ones you wanted to pull up.
For sure.
Yeah, let me share a couple that we've made. And I'll just say that that we have not yet bred a GHI lace that we've made. So that's kind of new for us. We've made a total of, you can see here, 5 animals I looked up and collected with GHI and lace in the pairing.
Yeah.
But just kind of starting as simply as we can, the one you showed, the fire yellow belly GHI lace clown. We made that one. That's relatively simple. Only have a couple other extra genes in there. This one's a little more simple, even without fire. GHI yellow belly lace clown. Now we've sold 4 of the 5 that we've made. We only have 1 left, including we sold these really crazy, beautiful GHI lace hets that are just amazingly gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Look at that
so
belly.
So I'm going to be reaching out to some of my customers and be like, hey, have you bred any of these animals yet? Have you seen maybe they're allelic? Maybe you can see something from the pairing that's helpful to us.
Yeah.
More data. And our girl, this girl that we showed that we kept is up to size now. So we'll share that information as we get a clutch from her. And yeah, it's really excited to just kind of share this and like explore it together. With just some transparency out there and saying, hey, this is what we think, and maybe it'll be true, and maybe we'll find something new out as we move along.
Yeah,
I remember
that's so
thinking
exciting.
a couple years ago, I remember thinking like all of these like pairings have already been found. There's how would anybody find new ones? Obviously people have bred everything at this point. Boy, I was a little short-sighted on that.
Right.
There's so many possibilities with
So many.
ball pythons. It's crazy to
Yeah.
think about.
And like I thought for sure, like that's already been done to death, right? But
Yeah.
apparently not. There's still more to be done. So,
Yes.
if you guys want any, don't have some animals laying around with those genes, you should.
I know. When Justin was like, "Oh, I've already sold all these," I was like, "Dang it!"
Right. I want to know what they
I'll
look
have
like.
to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is some of them probably are old enough to breed now. A couple males, so maybe maybe there's already info out there. Just needs to be searched out. So
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, please let us know if you or anyone has breeding results. We'd love to see it. And thanks for being here, watching this show, sharing these little nerdy things that pop up. That's what keeps me up at night thinking and excited and having fun. And so yeah, this was a fun one, really interesting one.
For sure. And Courtney and Justin, thank you so much for joining us again today. It's always a pleasure to have you guys.
Thank you for having us.
thanks for sharing, and look forward to hearing the next big discoveries that are coming down the pipeline.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
There will probably be many. All right. Everybody make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also to Courtney and Justin at Canova and at Leviathan Snakes on YouTube and pretty much everything else. So go give them a like and subscribe. Give them their love. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Thank you.